I'm taping you now. So, Jay, I forget how to pronounce your last name.
Vasudevan.
Vasudevan?
David.
Vasudevan from Brandtology. And I'm here to look at social media metrics that Brandtology's new dashboard produces. Is this a new? And here's well, you can't see the thing. Let me see if I can kind of. All right, yeah, there it is. So if you look at this, it gives you channel engagement. Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, it's overall conversation engagement.
Okay.
So it's looking at how many new threads people create and how many responses come in for those conversations. So in an example, like if you have the iPhone, and then if you're managing the company, the brand's Facebook fan page as well as the Twitter page, and you push information out, you want to know if more people are also creating new threads, as well as are there enough people who are already fans or followers on Twitter? Are they responding to your threads? Are they responding to your tweets? And are they taking it and putting it in other places as well? So what it does is the engagement factor is looking at the entire volume of new conversations and the responses that are created about all these brands within that category, and it compares how each of the brand is doing compared to each other. So it's a comparative.
And that's something a lot of people want, actually.
Oh, yeah,
definitely people want that. Okay.
And then influence, that's pretty much, it's a median score of our influencer index. So how we calculate that is we take in two factors. So there's a study, and then people talk about popularity versus engagement as an influencer. That is, how popular a person is depending on how many followers they have, how many friends they have, and all that,
right.
How active they are. And the other factor is you look at how many people respond to them when they put up a post.
Right.
Right? So we take both those factors together within the community, and then we give a score between 0 to 100. And what you're looking at there is the median score of all the influencers that are talking about each of those brands.
There you go.
That's the median score.
Okay.
And then the next part is the reach component. So reach is kind of similar to engagement. How that works is, again, going back to the example of, iPhone's Facebook fan page and the Twitter page. You're pushing information. Say there's the new phone that's launched, or the whole antenna gate. You want to push out information, put up new links and stuff that you put on Facebook, on YouTube. If you want to know if it's spreading across, is it reaching a wider audience outside your group itself? So what happens there is we look at two factors. One is we look at how many new channels.
Yeah.
That means new blogs, new forums,
right.
New sites, all those things. How many new communities are picking up the conversation and talking about it. That's one factor. The other factor is how many unique people are involved in that conversation.
Yeah, and that's important. Out of curiosity, are the channels weighted at all?
Yeah, there's a priority scale that's given within that, not here itself, but underneath that, when you go in further, the second layer, there is a way in which we prioritize the channels and the conversations.
Out of curiosity, is the prioritization done by traffic, or
there are multiple factors.
Isn't just the blog versus Twitter?
Traffic is one of the factors, but there are other factors involved as well.
Okay.
Multiple factors that we put in, and also because the way we set up, we just don't pull information from everywhere. We focus on the 80-20 rule. We focus on the top important social media channels for the client, even when they start. So these channels will vary from client to client depending on what. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's customized for every single client.
See, that's what I thought. The higher end stuff like the Synthesio, the brand, your Brandtology, and Atentio are in a different class because you guys spend more time. In terms of sentiment, what are you doing there that's maybe different because it's so controversial?
Sure.
In terms of
just to finish up on the reach part, the idea here is you compare, same thing, just like engagement, it looks at the entire category and then compares how much reach each brand has against each other.
Okay.
Right? And then for sentiment, the factor you're looking at here is giving you the net sentiments. So this is something that a lot of our clients wanted, so we had to go with that scale.
Okay.
We give a rating from -100 to +100 for
okay.
sentiments. So
okay.
-100 being very negative, -100 to -50 is very negative, -50 to -1 is negative, 0 is neutral, and then there 50 is positive, and of course 100 is very positive. So what this does is looking at the net sentiment. So it's looking at all the positive, it's all the negative buzz that you have.
Yeah.
And it's calculating the net value of the sentiments on that scale.
Right.
And the volume of buzz that you tend to have. So it takes both of those factors.
I'm going to get into this thing that one of my readers was telling me yesterday. I want a human story. Is there a human story with anybody that used the new social media metrics part of Brandtology and did something with it that, changed their business?
Oh yeah, I have plenty of examples.
Is there any one that you can share?
Well, a lot of that is proprietary.
Yeah, right. But I mean, even in general, without naming the company, without naming, but what generally have people been able to do because they have social media metrics?
Sure. One factor that I can kind of jump into is in the this one right here, actually, the social media equity chart. It's pretty interesting.
What is it?
The
Equity?
Social media equity chart.
Yeah.
I would say the best part is this summarizes all the 3 key factors that you want to measure in social media. It's the sentiment, the influence, and the volume of buzz.
Isn't this the same as a similar idea I wrote about last year called the Digital Footprint Index that we were talking about?
Talked about that, right.
Did I in some way help inspire this? I would like to take credit for this dashboard because okay, no. But did my ideas in some way find their way into this?
These were one of the initial features that we had.
Okay, all right. So I can't take any credit for this particular one, right? Okay.
Not for this one, yes.
Not for this one.
But
anyway, the digital. So you represented the 3 dimensions as.
Okay, so that's the sentiment, influence, and the volume of buzz.
Okay.
So ideally, your brand has to be a big bubble on the right top. That means a lot of influential people are saying very positive things a lot.
Okay.
So a lot of our clients use this in multiple ways. One is they build their social media strategy based on where they are at this point. So for example, if I'm BlackBerry and then I look at, say, Sony or HTC, then I may not be able to compete with who are these guys, the iPhone or Nokia, because in terms of buzz, I'm not as good. But if I want to compete with these guys, I see HTC or Samsung and HTC have a lot better sentiment, then I can build my social media strategy based on that. So then if I want to improve on my sentiments, I want to identify people who are more positive towards me, have a very good influence.
Do you have the influencer algorithms built into this as well? Are you doing it? Can you show me what your influencer things look like? Sorry, I co-opt this, but I mean, how are these auto-generated, or is that a separate charge too?
So no, this is part of the dashboard as well.
Okay.
So the score, like I told you before, we've taken both the factors: how active somebody is, and how engaged they are in social media, and then we populate that within every single country and all that you look at. We can filter all this data and kind of sort them down, not just based on the influence score, but also based on the sentiment part.
Okay. Now, I see you have Bill Cosby at Twitter.com as an influencer. What's he an influencer for here? I mean, it's off iPhone, so he's, I guess, an influencer. How good are these names? How in terms of how good have they turned out to be? Have they been?
I would say
comparing Radiant 6 and some of the other stuff that pretty much is useless.
Directly, I don't have a comparison to screen to show you between another tool here. But what happens is there's the automated layer. That's one part. But of course, this screenshot that I have is completely automated part.
Yeah.
But with our human component, we are able to push our sentiment analysis accuracy to a very, very high range. What happens then is a lot of irrelevant buzz is gotten rid of.
Okay.
So then effectively we've seen a lot of our clients getting a very, very thorough list of influencers that are very relevant to their market. And you can also, go down based on the sentiment they have towards the brand.
Yeah.
So we do have cases where clients used that list, went down to the post, figured out what these guys talked about, and then engaged with them in word of mouth marketing.
I'm gonna